world recognize it.
Bombings, piracy, civil war, Black Hawk Down and Ilhan Omar. Those are the things Somalis are famous for. But this isn't Somalia. I am standing in Hargeisa, Somaliland, and it's one of the most incredible countries I've ever visited. It's not recognized by any country in the world except for Taiwan, but it potentially has a very bright future.
Somaliland was once known as British Somaliland, a protectorate established in the late 19th century during the height of European colonization in Africa. Across the border, the Italians controlled southern Somalia, forming what became known as Italian Somaliland. These two territories, though both Somalian culture and language, were shaped by different colonial powers, legal systems and political institutions. On June 26, 1960, British Somaliland gained independence. For 5 brief days, it existed as a sovereign state recognized by over 30 countries, including the UK and the US. But its independence was short-lived. Driven by a pan-Somali nationalist dream of uniting all Somali people under one flag, Somaliland voluntarily joined with Italian Somaliland on July 1st, 1960 to form the Somali Republic.
The present Somali nation was created in 1960 by merging two former colonies, Italian Somalia and British Somaliland.
The union, however, was flawed from the beginning. The merger was rushed, with no formal legal act of union ratified by both sides. The northern Somalilanders quickly felt marginalized, underrepresented in government, economically neglected, and politically sidelined. Tensions grew throughout the 1970s under the increasingly authoritarian regime of Siad Barre. His rule became synonymous with brutality, especially in the north. In Somaliland, opposition to Barre's rule coalesced into the Somali National Movement, SNM, largely supported by members of the Isha clan, the majority clan in British Somaliland. The government's response was brutal. In the late 1980s, Siad Barre launched a systematic campaign of extermination against the Isha population. What followed became known as the Isha genocide, one of the most horrific yet completely overlooked atrocities in modern African history. Somali government forces bombed the city of Hargeisa, killing an estimated 50,000 to 100,000 civilians, most of them Isha. Entire neighborhoods were destroyed. Mass graves still dot the outskirts of the city. This wasn't war, it was ethnic cleansing carried out with Soviet-made weapons and a scorched earth policy. When Barre's regime finally collapsed in 1991, Somalia descended into complete chaos and civil war. But in the north, Somalilanders gathered to reclaim their independence. They declared the re-establishment of the Republic of Somaliland within its 1960 borders. They held reconciliation conferences, drafted a new constitution, and began building democratic institutions. Yet despite ticking all the boxes of statehood, a defined territory, a permanent It borders a region affected by al-Shabaab and other extremist groups, yet it has remained remarkably secure. Recognizing Somaliland would allow deeper military and intelligence cooperation without going through Mogadishu, a government that struggles to control even its own capital. Fourth, there's a moral argument. Recognition would send a powerful message that self-determination through peace and democracy is rewarded, not ignored. Somaliland didn't rise from the ashes of war with foreign aid packages or outside intervention. It did it through clan-based reconciliation, constitutional reform, and the long, difficult work of state building. And finally, because the West has often said it values sovereignty, democracy, and earned legitimacy, recognition in Somaliland's case is not a reward, it's simply a reflection of reality. And the reality is this: Somaliland exists. It is a functioning nation with borders, laws, leaders, and a people who know exactly who they are. Maybe it's time the world accepted it as such.